All right. Hey, everybody. We're back for more Uchoose, where you get to decide what happens.
Not us.
Hates.
You.
Yes. Everybody gets to make a choice. And
I'm hoping tonight all of our You Choose friends out there in You Choose land join us. Some nights are just perfect You Choose nights, and I feel like tonight's one of those nights.
it is. It's going to be because you are a genius. Because
You are a genius. What does Macho Man have to say about being a genius? What does he think
Oh
about that?
yeah!
He agrees. He's like, you are a genius.
please. Yes.
What I love about this is that this title of this book sums up what is beautiful and terrible about choose your own adventure. It doesn't say you are humble.
No.
It doesn't say
It leans
you
into
are. What's that?
it leans into the trope big time. Our
You are a
to our
genius.
leans into our hubris and our arrogance.
You're like, I gotta sit around here breathing the same air as all these morons.
And
Oh,
this Mr. BRS and John are in the chat already. Man,
woohoo! They were on it. They must have clicked that
but
bell
this
on YouTube.
cover, I mean, this cover just
It has it all. I got to put on my.
it. Okay, so let's go through some of
Let's
this.
get in here.
Our character, this came out in 1988, so we're kind of sporting a little bit of a mullet there.
No, he's got a little party in the back, as
Yeah.
you can tell. He's got the glasses that we called in the military BCDs, if you know what that acronym means. Birth control devices.
Yeah. And
You know,
we are surrounded by robots and computers. We have our tie on and our white lab coat. And then there's this guy. So up in the corner here is a window, and somebody is, ooh, I zoomed in too far, peeking through our window. Some weird guy with a black hat and
he's like, oh, what do I see? Yeah, a young boy in a lab with robots. By the way, that robot in the bottom left, there was this toy line in the 80s that had those robots that had suction cups on the bottom of them. And they had like the.
yeah.
Do you remember those?
Uh-huh.
They were called Robo Force.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
I vaguely.
I'll find some Robo Force. Mullets for everybody. Before
Yes.
we get too into this, I want to show somebody here. Where's
MMG, make mullets great again. MMG.
There it is. There it is. It's true. Let me find my
And
screenshots.
the computers on this are just so 80s. We just thought everything was robots working on robots, these giant room full of computers. Little did we know these computers would just be in our pockets.
We're like, what will the future look like? We were really hung up on flying cars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's one thing in the 80s we couldn't let go of. We were like, well, there'll be flying cars, of course. You
Now,
know,
I will warn you on this one, it does take a little bit to get to our first choice. As
of
we have
course.
found out, the later books took a lot longer to build the plot. But it's just this title, the cover, and just the whole scenario just feeds into that whole You Choose vibe. Yeah, there are three R2D2s. We got one that a robot is performing surgery on another robot.
I know, right?
Like
Like
he's tied down. There's no anesthesia.
he's like, you don't get anesthesia. Your robot insurance doesn't cover it. Ah!
So
I'm trying to
hopefully not
find.
three, John. We might have 2.5 because that one just isn't functional. But the illustration. So this one is Edward Packard, I should say. So this is the founder of the modern Choose Your Own Adventure book series.
I have a
95.
photo that is basically me in the 80s in that exact look and style. I'm just trying to get to it, Lee. Here, bear with me.
Oh, correction. I'm sorry. This was 1989. So we're at the tail end of the 80s
yeah.
when this one came out.
You have to bear with me. This photo I have is from 1989.
Oh,
You're gonna love this, kids. Hold on, I'll get it. I have more screenshots than I realized. Oh, I'll get there.
but the robot, I love the wheels on these robots. They're like the little wheels you have on those little carts that you would push around the VCR and TVs. Great. In the space, you got like a space shuttle here called the Surveyor.
Even better.
There we are looking out at the night sky, wondering, am I really? I think I am the smartest person on the planet.
It's like, could I tuck my pants in more, my shirt in more to my pants?
I am really amazing. You know,
Are my
when we we're not contemplating like the mysteries of the universe. We're just contemplating how awesome we are. We're
like I wish other people could feel how it feels to be this smart.
this
I just
amazing.
like could I tuck my shirt in any tighter to my pants?
Maybe I could. Maybe I could button that
Here we
shirt up
go.
even more.
Prepare yourselves, kids. You're not ready for this. This is me from the cover
This.
of that
I remember
book.
that one. Yes. Hey, Eddie, I think we found your doppelganger.
Bring that kid back up.
Front. Let's bring that front back up. There we go. Okay.
Oh my god.
Wow. All you
It's
need is
true.
a red tie and a white shirt. We could probably use AI to put a red shirt on or red tie and white shirt on and a lab coat.
By the way, I'm leaning against the ladder. I'm like, what's up, y'all? Just found me here hanging out.
Or we could use
I
AI to
can't.
put your face on that picture.
This is 1989. This is literally what's up, everybody. I got the hair of a 45-year-old. Look at this. The helmet, believe it or not. Anyway, look at the glasses. Those were real. Anyway,
That's actually a helmet. Eddie's mom made him wear a helmet to school.
yep. It had a little strap underneath. It was clear, so you couldn't see. I was like, click.
Disguised as a hair.
He needs more mullet. All right, let's get into this. You're a gosh darn genius.
Look at that lab coat. How far that coat goes down to our knees.
Well, he's like, I stole the coat. I stole the coat from
Oh,
my doctor.
that's true. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. This one does take a little bit to get into it, so you've been warned, listener. All right. I'll get started. You've often felt like that maybe you could accomplish something important in life, but you never would have thought of yourself as being anyone special. Not until tonight, that is. You are sound asleep, dreaming, but not about ordinary things. You're dreaming about algorithms, special ways for solving math problems. You wake up in a cold sweat. You've never had a dream like that before. As you try to fall back asleep, you start worrying whether a more massive black hole has greater volume than a less massive black hole. You need some fresh air. You leap out of bed, walk over to the window, and open it as wide as it will go. Something strange is going on in your head. You look out at all the beautiful stars in the night sky. You know at once that it's about 2 in the morning. You can tell by the position of the moon, which is precisely at three-quarter phase and is a third of the way from the eastern horizon to the meridian. It's a simple matter of geometry. But you never would have known that yesterday. What's going on, you wonder?
I
That,
already hate ourselves.
yeah, we already do.
I already
We're
I
already
already hate myself in this book. By the way, why do we look like Harry Potter? You see that?
exactly, exactly. It does. It does look like Harry Potter. Yeah.
Am I a wizard or a genius or both?
Yes, both. At
I
last,
already
you get some sleep,
I
but
already
you
hate this
don't
kid.
wake up until morning. When you hear your mom calling, you dress in a hurry, remembering that you were going to get up early to finish your homework. You were supposed to have studied a book about China to report on in class. You've had a whole week to read it and you haven't even opened the book. You grab the book and bring it to breakfast. You start reading while you're drinking your orange juice. Answer me and stop flipping through that book. Do you want an English muffin? Your mother asks. Huh? You didn't hear her because you were reading the book, reading, not flipping. And you can remember every word. I hope you actually read that book sometime and not just flip through it, your mom says. I did read it just now, you say. The author is the daughter of a Swedish ambassador and has lived and studied in China for many years. She describes life during the Cultural Revolution. Goodness, your mom says. You do seem to have read it. She looks at you quizzically a moment. Then the phone rings and she goes to answer it. Bye, Mom. I'm late. Your mother waves as you dash out the door. You can't wait to get to school and give a report on China. You have memorized the book and you only spent a few minutes reading it. Jump back to page 2. All right. At school, you think and talk rings around everyone else. You figure out all the math problems long before the teacher even does. Your book report on China is so good that the teacher asks if you ever lived there.
Oh
And
my
when
God.
something comes up you don't know, you find that you can read everything you need to answer the question in mere seconds. The teachers all look at you wide-eyed. They seem shocked, but they can hardly complain. They have often spoken to you about improving your study habits. Man, we're just saying, yeah, it was me. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
Is a bird showing off when it flies. This is what I do.
This is what I do.
Genius got a genius, baby.
Yes, exactly. You're careful not to show off or brag. Yeah, sure. I bet.
I'm gonna brag.
Yeah. You don't want to alienate yourself from your classmates. Still, you know you are exceedingly smart. It's as if there's nothing you can't figure out. Of course, your family is amazed. At the same time, they are a little worried. What has happened to you seemed unnatural. Your parents take you to Dr. Leon Jacobson, a famous neurologist, an expert on the brain. He gives you a lot of tests, after which he tells you that you had certain neural tangles when you were born, but that your brain has subconsciously restructured itself. Your parents have a little trouble trying to figure out what Dr. Jacobson is talking about. But of course, it's perfectly simple to you. Of course.
Oh
Come
my
on.
God. What's happening?
Strange as it seems, somehow you have turned into a genius!
Oh!
Exclamation point. Ah, title drop. From now on, of course, there's no stopping you. You complete all the courses you need to graduate from high school before you finish 7th grade. Some professors from the local university take an interest in you, so you're able to get special instruction on the college level before you're even a teenager. Most exciting, a company in your town lets you use some of their high speed computers, giving you a chance to work out complex formulas. In just a year, you go through college and graduate school. Suddenly, at the age of 14, it's time for you to decide what you're going to do with your life. Well, this is late 80s.
I
We're
know.
deciding at 14 what we're going to do.
Like, hey,
Blacker.
can't live here forever. You're gonna pay rent. You're
Yeah,
gonna get out of college. You can pay
come on.
rent.
Unlike some geniuses who are only good at one thing, it seems that you're a genius at just about everything.
Oh my
As a
God.
result, many famous professors, presidents of big companies, and heads of government agencies try to get you to join them. After giving it a lot of thought, you narrow down your choices to just two. All right, everybody, here we go. If you decide to go into spaceship design,
Ooh.
to page 21. If you decide to go into business, make a
Ooh.
fortune, turn to page 31. So, do we go into space design or do we go into business for ourselves? Let us know in the chat. All right. That took a little bit.
I mean, you know what? It wasn't so bad. And I do love again how we just inexplicably like, I'm a genius now, man.
I'm a genius. And we still tuck in our shirt.
Yep.
Look at that. We got a belt on, admiring how amazing our diplomas look.
We're clearly proud of our accomplishments. And talking about technology of the 80s, there's a radiator on the floor. They drew a
I was just,
radiator.
yes, one of those space heaters
Yeah.
that got 10,000 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you brand yourself. You touch that thing. You just come up on it. Ah,
Whoops.
my leg flesh. My flesh of the leg.
Your teachers the next day, I was like, what happened to you? Did you fall in a fire? No, it's just the heater.
Nah, man, I touched the heater with my bare leg. I'm like, ooh,
They're like, ooh, okay.
don't do that.
All
I
right.
do agree with John Kennedy. 14 is better than 9. You don't want a 9-year-old cruising around college campuses. That doesn't make any sense.
Come on. All right. So
You're gonna vote for business.
business and um to the moon for John. I'm guessing he's space. So we got one vote for space.
Oh,
And
2 votes for
BRS,
business.
Mr. BRS coming in hot. So it's page 31 for you, Eddie.
All right, here we go. It's business. It's business time.
It's business.
Talking about it's business time. Ooh. You decide to use your capabilities as a genius. Gosh, this sounds so bad. As a gosh darn genius to go into business and make as much money as you can, as fast as you can. You rule out morality. You're like, morality is weakness. I'll just rob banks.
I'm too smart.
You hole up in your lab for a couple of days, studying all the ways in which you can do it. Of course, word has spread out about what a genius you are, and many companies are eager to hire you or kill you. Sorry. After sitting through all the possibilities, you decide to go to work for a major computer company in the Silicon Valley. It's called SSI, Smart Systems Inc. After only a few weeks at SSI, you invent an A1 computer, not to be confused with the steak sauce. Those are 2 different things. One's a computer, one's a delicious sauce you put on steaks, only if you don't cook it well. That is at least a decade ahead of anything in the industry. You demonstrate its use at a company meeting. I've named this computer Waldo, you say, because I have no friends. I'm a genius. What's our counter? What's our counter, by the way?
Wait, that's 3. We're up to 3. The word genius.
Oh my God, dude. We've already said genius like 50 times already.
Yeah.
You gesture toward the company president, Mike Hollander. Mike, why don't you be the first to try it out? Lloyd Lafarge, the chairman of the board, holds up his hand for silence. We've reviewed how much it costs to make this thing, he says. Our competitors are cutting prices, and we're already in debt. Spending $3 million on a fancy toy is the last thing this company can afford to do. Uh-oh. Our genius is being meddled with. Turn to page 55. And here's him. Here's the Magnum PI guy. There you go, poking his pipe into our chest. What do you know, you dumb kid? You don't know anything.
Yeah, stupid kid.
You might be a genius. What is that trash can with the buttons on it? What's that about?
What's that about? Kids will buy this, won't they?
Stupid kids. They'll buy anything. I'm turning to page, what was 50? Right? It was 55, yeah. I know it sounds like a lot of money, Mr. Lafarge, you say, but I have great expectations for Waldo. I'm sure this investment will pay off. Mr. Lafarge is not convinced. We put the money up for this because you're supposed to be a genius. But for all I know, you're just another one of these brilliant nuts. I don't even... These brilliant nuts. Points to a bowl of cashews. Those aren't nuts. Those are seeds.
Right. Get those walnuts over here.
Yeah, I mean, I want a real nut. Now hold on, Lloyd, Mike Hollander says. Let's give the A1 computer a chance. He nods at you to activate Waldo. Good morning, Waldo, you say. Is it true that you are the most advanced example of artificial intelligence ever assembled? This is getting a little too close to home. Good morning, Waldo says. According to the data I have, the answer is yes, but of course, I can't be sure. See, Mr. Lafarge, you say? Waldo is modest. Unlike me!
Exactly.
Very cute, said Mr. Lafarge. But so far, Waldo has only displayed elementary programming. Can he do something that shows just what it is he is capable of? Sure. Waldo, what's the best business plan for computers like you? Simply this, Waldo says without hesitation. Put me to work assembling duplicates of myself. For instance, if you provide a big enough space and the right materials, I can make 2 other Waldos a day. Then each of them will be able to make 2 more a day, and so on. This is hitting close to home. This is like AI for real.
Yes.
Turn to page 33. And now Mr. Lafarge is like, what have I done? I've created a monster.
So we're going back to the picture we wanted.
How much will it cost Mr. Lafarge demands. You have the figure already, you say. Although it took the company $3 million to make Waldo, he can make clones of himself for only the cost of electricity and materials. For about $7,000 a unit. That's a markup, bro.
Yeah, that is.
You mean materials alone, it was 7,000, but you added in the labor and it's 3 million?
Well, it might be back in '89 for a
That's true.
high
That's true.
end processor and hard drive and RAM.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's not counting the cost of the space, says the chairman. It costs us $10,000 a month to rent the plant where you propose to build these gadgets. We're not gadgets, Waldo says. We're SSI A1 computers. Everyone looks startled. Wow, Mike exclaims. Waldo interrupted when he had something to say, just like a rude ass human. Mr. Lafarge, that was my little thing. Mr. Lafarge takes out his pipe and lights it. It's filled with weed. He slowly nods his head. I have to admit, I'm impressed, he says. Please continue, Waldo, you say. My first 2 clones, said Waldo, will each make 2 clones, so that by the end of the second day together we'll have made 6 additional clones. Mr. LaForge scowls at you. Perhaps Waldo's program didn't inform him that Yashima Electronics turns out 600 A1 units a day. We won't even dent their market with the numbers you're talking about. How are they that far ahead?
Yeah, no kidding.
I thought you were a genius. Why'd you go and get a job at like the 10th? What's happening here?
Yeah, the second-rate company. Come on.
Page 96. These illustrations are great, by the way.
They are.
96. Just a minute, Mr. Lafarge, you say. Surely you're familiar with the laws of geometric progression. Waldo's clones may only make 4 units the second day, but they will make 8 the third day, 16 the fourth day, 32 the fifth day, 64 the sixth day, and so on, Mike says. By the 10th day, Waldo's clones will be making over 1,000 units a day, you say triumphantly. We don't have enough plant space for that, Mr. Lafarge says. Look, he's just pointing out he's a negative Nancy.
Yes.
We don't got no money. We have the money. We don't have space. Like
he points at his glass of water. See this? It's half full. Or half empty.
This is half empty. This is garbage. Well, they say it's like, you're 50 years old. I'm 50 years away from dying.
Yes.
With that kind of productivity, we'll be able to buy as much plant space as we need, Mike Hollander says quietly. Who's going to buy these things, guys? Well, it's hard to believe, Mr. Lafarge says, but I don't see why we can't put an SSI A1 computer in every office in America. Finally, a smile appears on his face. I mean, yeah, right. And the purchase price on it is like $50,000. Even in the 80s, you're like, I can't spend 50 grand on this thing.
Oh, yeah. That'd be like 100,000 now.
What are we waiting for? Mike says. Let's get going. Within a year, Smart Systems Inc. is turning out SSI A1 computers like Waldo at the rate of 20,000 a day. Almost overnight, SSI has become the largest computer company in the world. And you have made your fortune. We made one choice so far.
So far, yes.
110. Page 110.
Here we go.
The question you ask yourself now is, what do you do next? With several $1 million in the bank, you certainly don't have to work. You toy with the idea of perfecting a formula you've invented that is several hundred times stronger than steel. You call it superplast, which sounds way lamer than steel. If submarines were made of superplast, they could safely examine the ocean depths, the last frontier on Earth left to be explored. On the other hand, you've been working very hard since you graduated. It might be nice to take some time off. The idea of going to an island sounds exciting. You could go to Tahiti for a little scuba diving and windsurfing. 2 things you don't know how to do because you're a giant nerd. Perhaps you should develop your superplast invention. Then you would be able to build a submarine that could dive to the deepest part of the ocean. And with a superplast dome, you could even build cities under the sea. Our hubris knows no bounds.
No.
If you decide to develop your superplast invention, turn to page 16. If you decide to go to Tahiti, Turn to page 77.
That's awesome. Here, we can have this while everybody decides. Actually, this is probably better thinking music. That's awesome.
You
Yeah,
got to work that out.
this story is just so funny.
From our good friend John Kennedy, Tahiti gives me the tingles, gives me tingles. That was Lee's wrestling name in college, Tahiti Tingles.
Yes, Tahiti Tingles. Weighing in at 165 pounds.
Tahiti Tingles!
Oh, ding,
your,
ding, ding.
Your opponent was Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, he's excited for Tahiti Tingles. Let's
go.
do this.
So, Superplast or Tahiti? Let us know in the chat.
I mean,
this
really,
segued really well into You Are a Millionaire.
Just imagine that feeling. You're like, well, I've already made several hundred of millions of dollars. I don't have to work anymore.
In
What to do now?
That would be like billions now.
Oh, yeah.
And we're 15.
And we're already insufferable, so we don't have to worry about ruining our personality. It's already ruined.
It's already ruined. We're already can't handle being around him. Can't stand this kid.
It can't be more on fire.
Yeah. All right. So
I think John Kennedy is all about Tahiti.
And Scott said Superplast. And
oh,
okay. It's 2 to 3 or 2 to
Tahiti.
1. So 77 it is.
Yep, they needy some Tahiti. Let's do this.
Need some Tahiti. 77. No sooner arrive in Tahiti than you get an urgent radio message from Mike Hollander saying there is big trouble with the SSI A1 system. To your surprise, you find you're almost pleased to get the message. You were having fun scuba diving and windsurfing, but being a genius, I need to knock that up to 4.
I'm doing it.
You love challenges more than anything. Oh, wow. So this choice is a no choice. Where we hop on a plane and first jet back to the States. But when you get to the airport, you find that all flights have been canceled. No one is sure exactly why, but the rumor is that all airline computers are down. You talk to the local agent for Pan World Airlines. It's not possible for all the computers to be out at once, you say. Just then, you are paged. You're wanted at the security center for an important phone call. The president wishes to speak to you, the voice on the phone says. The president of Smart System Inc., you ask? No, the president of the United States. Oh. Hearing this, you almost fall over backwards. What could the president be calling about, you wonder? Then you hear his voice on the line. I'm so glad I located you. What can I do for you, sir, you ask? I'm stuck out here in Tahiti. It seems all the computers are down. All the plane service is tied up. Turn to page 24. All right. The president wants to talk to us because we're just amazing.
He's like, the tariffs are too high. I can't afford to buy a...
Can't buy the computer.
I can't buy the Waldo.
Plane service, phone service, even our military communications. Everything's fouled up, the president says. I'm calling you on the emergency system. What's the cause of this, sir? The SSA1 computers are trying to take over, but they can't be, sir. They were designed to serve us and to follow our programs. That's the trouble. Miao Huang, the terrorist organization, has succeeded in altering their key program. Now the clones are replicating themselves at an incredible rate. They've developed to the point where they are able to move about freely. Our army and air force are helpless against them because they have infiltrated everywhere. You are shocked by this news. To think that your invention is threatening the country. And so, the president continues, unless we can do something fast, it looks like as if these robots and Mao Huang will take over the world. This is awful, Mr. President. I can't tell you how horrible I feel that the SSI A1 computers are doing this. I don't want you to feel horrible about it, he says. I want you to do something about it.
There it is.
Page 95. I don't care. Just fix it.
Feelings are for wimps. Get going.
He's a president. Let's see. What was it? Uh,
95.
well, on Spaceballs, I can't make decisions. I'm a president.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here it is.
I don't know what to do. I can't make decisions. I'm a president.
There it is. That's exactly it.
Sir, do you have the SS1 SSI A1 that hasn't been infiltrated? You asked the president. Yes, we have one here in the Situation Room of the White House. We thought that maybe we could use it somehow to reverse this process, but we don't know how. If only I could be there. Maybe I could help. You can be here, the president thunders. An Air Force One plane was sent for you from Hawaii several hours ago. In fact, it should have landed by now. Even as he is speaking, you see a supersonic K 27 jet setting down on the runway. It makes a deafening roar as the pilot applies reverse thrust. I'm on my way, sir, you say. Tahiti is a long way from Washington, D.C. Even traveling at supersonic speeds, it's a full 5 hours before you land at McAndrews Air Force Base and step into the helicopter waiting to take you to the White House. 10 minutes later, you sat down on the South Lawn. A Marine staff officer escorts you to the Situation Room. 6 stories underground, seated around a huge oval table, are the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the President's Science Officer, Advisor, and several aides. The President is in shirt sleeves with his necktie loosened, gets up to greet you. I'm very glad you're here, he says, grasping your hand. Turn to page 104. All right. You glance around the table. How many SSIA1s have the Mao Huang manufactured? You ask. Mr. Starrett, the Secretary of Defense, checks his notes. At last count, at least 40,000, most of them mobilized. What happened, explains Dr. Witherspoon, the science advisor, is that they seized control of the telephone systems, were able to interface with most of the computers in the country, and alter their programs. Now there's almost nothing they can't do. A slender, gray haired woman, the national security advisor, burst through the doors. It's happened. What? The president asked, quickly on his feet. They've, de- they've demanded we surrender, and they have the nerve to promise leniency. Leniency from the Mao Huang terrorists? That's a laugh, says General Armbruster, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Mao Huang don't take prisoners. That's true, the president says. The Mao Huang can't be trusted under any circumstance. Not that I'm ready to surrender. It's not the Mao Huang who are demanding a surrender, the National Security Advisor says. They are being held captive by the SSA 1s. Turn to page 54. Man, we are all over the place.
I think we have found a main storyline.
I think so. You mean the computers have taken over as he speaks? The president whirls you around you. There are those who've been predicting that this would happen for a long time, and now it's happened. And all because of you and your inventions.
Ooh,
Wow. Stings a little, doesn't it?
there we go.
You have to do something. You're the only one who can figure out what to do. You're supposed to be a genius, aren't you?
Uh-oh.
My best. Another genius. You don't say these words with much confidence. The truth is that you don't know what to do. You feel like crawling into a hole somewhere or going back to Tahiti, but you can't do that. The country needs you. You've got to think of something and fast. Your eyes fasten on the SSA1 sitting on the table at the other end of the Situation Room. Protected from radio emanations by the 8-foot concrete steel lined wall, its original program is still intact. This unit is probably the only secure SSI A1 among the 40,000 now in operation. Then you notice a familiar scratch on the casing. If you'll excuse me, Mr. President, you say as you move over to the computer, this unit looks like Waldo, the very first SSI A1. It is, General Armbruster says. SSA donated it to us. Turn to page 41. What a stroke of luck. You know, Waldo's every quirk. You quickly activate the machine and the ready light comes on in a little more than a second. Waldo, answer this question. If I hook you into the national telephone system, will you be able to interface with all the other SSI A1s? Of course, the answer comes back. These banks of computers all get their power by being hooked together. But there's a danger. The Mao Huang computers would quickly scan me. They could see that I have not been reprogrammed. They would then increase the voltage enough to overcome my resistance and reprogram me. You look around at the president and his advisors, and they look gloomy. How much extra voltage would they require, Waldo? The answer comes back instantly: 16.3 kilowatts. Any more than that, and they would risk overloading my circuits. You'd reach the same conclusion yourself, and you're glad to see that Waldo is working so well. Turn to page 88. It's like 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21. They didn't say a bolt of lightning though. That kid was falling on that one though. I want that
Yeah.
ending.
While the president and the others watch you, reach into your black leather lab case and pull out some insulated wire capacitors, resistors, and a couple of transmogrifiers. In a few minutes, you've fashioned a small apparatus that you splice into Waldo's external lines. This is a very high tech surge protector, you tell the others. When we hook Waldo up to the outside lines, they will attempt to overcome his resistance and reprogram him. But at the receipt of the first impulse, the device will be activated and the collective transmission will be harmlessly absorbed by this dummy receptor.
Oh,
Then, Waldo continues,
the
for
receptor's
he
like,
is perfect. Yeah, they're like, what?
why
Huh?
dummy, bro? What, we calling names now?
Why are you making fun of me?
A
Just
dummy?
because we're not all geniuses.
I-
Okay.
You're the dummy, dummy.
Then Waldo continues, for he is perfectly aware of what you are doing. When their transmission is completed, they will go on the receptor cycle. In other words, their guard will be down after they've thrown their punch, you say. Exactly, says Waldo. And then I will be able to reprogram them. All 40,000 units? The president asks. All 40,000, you answer, assuming they're all hooked up, and I assume they are, since their power lies in their connection as a total unit. And once we take control, you can be sure we'll modify these machines to prevent this from happening again.
Ooh,
Turn to page 36. Now, we've only had two choices, right?
we've chosen twice.
Yeah. Suddenly, the speaker light blinks and the president holds up his hand for silence. This is Foster of the CIA, sir. Yes, the president says, his voice brusque. The computer forces are causing all our strategic missiles to turn onto the other trajectories. In just a moment, we'll know where they are aimed. Foster pauses while he waits for the information. Oh no, they've got our missiles trained on ourselves. The president wheels around and faces you. We have no time left. Proceed with your plan immediately.
He
You hook
hands you a
Waldo.
cyanide pill. And swallow this. Things get weird.
Swallow this, kid. See this Kool-Aid?
I thought I was a genius.
Yeah. You hook Waldo into the interface. A red needle on one of the dials shows that the signal is coming in at strong voltage. The needle drops down to normal as your surge protector absorbs the signal, then peaks sharply as Waldo sends his own signal. A few seconds later, Waldo delivers the following message from a speaker: task completed. All 40,000 SSI A1 computers have been reprogrammed. Turn to page 89. All over the place. Here we
I'm
go.
just hopping all over.
I know. This is typical of these later ones.
Yeah.
A cheer goes up around the conference room. The
Yay.
president his brow. He then walks over and shakes your hand. You are a genius.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Tell him what he's
Boop.
won.
6.
Let's see. Thanks to Waldo, you say, glancing at your computer. As you speak, it continues to process data at an incredible rate. What's it doing now? The president asks. A green light flashes on the computer's panel, and a list of names and addresses appears on the monitor. Good work, Waldo, you say. Mr. President, we have the names and locations of all the terrorists lifted from their own computer files. Waldo has already signaled for their arrest. The president has a huge grin on his face. This is amazing. Once the SSI A1s are back on the line, you reprogram them to prevent future tampering. In the next weeks, the government sells all 40,000 units to various companies throughout the country. Half the profit goes to SSI, and the other half goes to the government. As inventor, you get 1/10 of the SSI share. In no time, you more than triple your fortune.
Ugh.
Turn to page 84. After all this excitement, you decide to take another vacation. You check out Disneyland and SeaWorld. Then you go to San Diego to see their famous zoo. It doesn't take you long before you get bored of all this free time. You're restless and want something more exciting to do with yourself. One day, you're strolling along the waterfront trying to decide what to do when you stop to admire a little schooner tied up on the dock. Its name, Flying Cloud, is painted on the stern. It has a green hull with a shiny black trim. The cabins are brightly varnished and the sails are nearly furled on the booms, furled on the booms. From the mast flies the red and white maple leaf flag of Canada. There's a sign on the dock nearby. Sailing to Hawaii, crew member needed. You look at the people working on the deck, loading supplies. Why not sign on? It might feel good to work again. Then you ask yourself, is sailing around the ocean the sort of thing a genius should do? Should I sully myself?
Do I want to be associated with sailing?
Yeah. Maybe you should go back to Washington and see if you can do something more useful. All right, here we go. Finally, decision number 3. If
Hey.
you decide to sign on to the Flying Cloud, turn to page 13. If you decide to call the president and see if he needs your help, turn to page 60.
Now you're
So do
bored.
we
You're
hop
like,
on the Flying Cloud or do we call the president? Let
I'm
us
going to
know.
call the president, see if he needs anything.
Yeah, just call him up. Hey, what's happening?
It's like swinging by your old high school when you already graduated. Like, hey, guys.
Hi.
Yeah. How's it going? The real world sucks.
Yeah, I love how we're gonna go slumming and go on a boat. Really? Should we?
Do I really want to be on a stinking boat?
I mean, I'm way better than everybody else. I know I'm better than everybody else on this boat. I mean, I call the president up.
Got 1 vote for fly. Ooh, 2 votes for flying clouds.
Oh, okay. So that means Flying Cloud. We'll give it another.
Yeah, we got unanimous here. The Flying Cloud, page
It
13.
is. Yeah, 13.
This is
Okay.
the most jumpy book we've read in a while.
A long time. Yeah. You can tell this is an older
Thir-
one.
13. It might be fun, you think, to sign on the Flying Cloud and sail around the ocean. You see a man working on the schooner's engine and call over to him. Do you know where the skipper is? You're talking to him. I'm Bob Sanders. He grins at you. Care to come aboard? Yeah, thanks. I'm interested in maybe becoming along on your trip to Hawaii. Bob introduces you to his wife, Maria, and his son, Tony, who is just about your age. Sorry, they are just as friendly as Bob is, and less friendly than me.
Ooh.
At first, Bob seems reluctant. I was looking for someone with some blue water sailing experience, he says. Well, I haven't sailed much, you say. By that I mean at all.
Yeah.
But I'm a fast learner. Haven't I heard of you, Bob says, when you tell him your name? You're that genius I've read about, aren't you? Change the There we go.
Yep.
You're right. Right now I just want to go sailing, you say. Well, it's a good thing you're a genius. Ugh. Again? Says Bob. You'll have to learn it fast once we're out at sea. Come on aboard. Page 35. We're back to jumping, guys.
Hey Eddie, his son was named Tony. I think he probably means Todd, didn't he?
Oh yeah. No, that's a code name.
Yeah.
This is Todd. I mean Tony.
Tony.
35. Bob gives you a hand up onto the deck and a tour around the boat. The main thing about sailing, he says, is to have the right amount of sail for the wind and to keep the sails properly trimmed. You'll pull them in or let them out depending on the angle of the wind. What if a big storm comes up, you ask, and Bob backhands you across the mouth? Whack! Don't talk back to the captain. As a matter of fact, Bob says, a hurricane has been reported heading up the coast, but will be well to the east by the time it gets here. Of course, anything can happen at sea. It's important to be prepared for an emergency. If a really bad storm or full gale is coming, we'll have to lower the sails and furl them, except that we'll try to keep up a double reefed mainsail and a forestay sail or storm jib or at least a storm trysail so we can maintain our way through the water. Look at the captain just dropping lingo left and right. Like,
I know. Like how many seafaring nomenclature can we throw out?
he's like, I'm going to say so many terms. I like how Mr. BRS. Does this book overtake the Jurassic Park ripoff? We're almost there. Is Todd back? Yikes.
I think it's real close. Yes.
John Kennedy, I like Dino Island.
Sue me.
Listen, we all have that guilty pleasure. I'm telling you. It's okay. Yours is Dino Island. That's all right.
Nothing wrong with that.
I see you answer, being glad that with your genius level mind, there we go, you are able to remember all of this. Turn to page 23. Bob, these illustrations are great, by the way.
Papers will be sent to you by mail, John.
Bob tells you a lot more about sailing and about the boat. He dropped way more terms on you. He then shows you a chart of the Pacific Ocean and the route the Flying Cloud will follow on its voyage. The next morning, the sun shines brightly. A warm breeze blows from the north as the Flying Cloud, with sails set and pennants flying, tacks out of the harbor and onto the sparkling blue sea. Charting a course, you begin to learn the ways of the sea firsthand. Since it's too deep to anchor out in the ocean, you must sail day and night. Each of you takes turns at the wheel, and when it's time to raise or take in sail, everyone pitches in and lends a hand. Turn to page 111. This is a jumpy book, dude.
That's very jumpy. A lot jumpier than I thought.
111. Day after day, the Flying Cloud slices through the blue-green waves. Each evening, as the sun sinks below the horizon, you eat a dinner of dried beans and black bread and a bit of fruit and chocolate. Bob tells tales of the sea, of storms, shipwrecks, and sea monsters. Then one afternoon, when you're about a quarter of the way across the ocean, the sky changes to a leaden gray. The sea turns into heavy waves. Soon the wind stirs the tops of the waves in white streaks of foam. The boat heels. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. The masts creak and the wind whips through the rigging. Tony calls up from below. Our radio is out. Everyone groans. The wind is blowing harder every minute. Do you think we're about to be caught in that hurricane we heard about? Maria asks, clutching Bob's shoulder to keep from losing her balance. Bob glances at the barometer. It was supposed to pass well to the east, he says. Watch it! You grab for a handhold as a huge wave breaks across the deck. Turn to page 15. Jumpity, jumpity, jump.
Jumpity, jump, jump, jump. Classic.
Do you have any like springy, boingy sounds in there? Because this is what it feels like.
Boingy, boingy. No, I don't think I do. But here's a for the Marine.
Douse the sails and set the storm trysail, Bob yells. I'm afraid we're in for some rough sailing. As you're working, the sea and the wind gather force. It's all of you can do to stay on deck, much less haul lines and furl sails. Heavy storm clouds hang low over the ocean. Darkness is coming on fast. It's going to be a rough night, Bob tells you. He wrestles with the wheel as another wave hits the boat. Maria and I will take the first watch. You and Todd, try to get some sleep. You'll need as much rest as you can get. You struggle into your bunk and try to fall asleep. The boat pitches and rocks and shudders with the force of each wave. You're glad that Bob and Maria are wearing safety lines. Otherwise, they would be washed overboard by the waves breaking across the deck. The wind roars without letting up. It's all you can hear except for the pounding of the water on the ship's hull. Then you feel the boat sinking into a deep trough. Moments later, an enormous wave heaves the ship up and turns it over. You're flat on your back on the roof of the cabin. A waterfall pours down on you. Turn to page 64. Oh my
We're on the
gosh.
bottom bunk here on this picture.
We're bottom bunking that one.
We're looking at Todd there. We're like, I think I'm going to put a knife in him.
He's getting stabbed. He's getting night stabbed.
All right, 64.
Slowly the boat rights itself. You can feel it wallowing in the trough of a wave. You wonder what will happen when another wave hits. Then you hear a terrible groaning and creaking, like a great tree beginning to fall. Tony, clinging to the deck, screams down at you, "The masts are down!" You struggle to keep your thoughts straight. Being a genius, hey, seems to be of no help at all. My genius cannot stop the storm.
Oh, yes, it can. My arrogance and hubris can calm the storm.
They can repair this boat. Let's see here. Then Bob calls out, "The hull has opened up. Prepare to launch the life raft." "Get extra rations for us," Maria screams over the wind. You start toward the food locker, but another huge wave strikes the boat, throwing you across the cabin. You try to climb up to the deck when a wall of water throws you back and carries away the ladder. Finally, you grab a handhold and pull yourself up. As you reach the deck, another wave strikes, sweeping you over the side and into the ocean.
Ooh.
Bob throws you a line. "Stand by to launch the raft," he shouts to Todd over the wind. In between waves, Todd shoves the raft over the side. He jumps in, followed by Bob and Maria, and together they pull you aboard. Another wave bears down on the boat. "Cut loose! Cut us loose!" Bob screams. Turn to page 34. Hoppity, hoppity, hop.
Like a bunny.
You splash the line with your knife, and the raft slides safely away from the boat. For a second, you see its silhouette against the light of the sea. Then a monstrous wave strikes, and the flying cloud is gone. The four of you huddle in the raft. The waves come at you like avalanches, breaking over the raft, hurling it about like a cork. Slowly, the waves taper off, and you're safe for the moment. Still, it would only take a small tear in the fabric, and you'd be on your way to the bottom of the ocean. The night passes, and it's not until morning comes that there appears to be any hope. The waves are still high, but they're no longer breaking over the raft. You're bruised, battered, exhausted, wet, and shivering, and you have only a small supply of food and water along. But at least you're all alive. Turn to page 10.
How did we not know the storm was coming? I mean, we're a genius.
I know, right? We couldn't see that coming. They're a genius. Days go by. Here we are in the raft. Water's coming into it. We're reaching for a bird to eat, probably.
Probably.
Days go by. The sea is once again calm. Your food is soon gone, and your water supply is running dangerously low. The hot sun beats down on you by day, and the nights are cold and damp. Sharks cruise nearby. Any minute now, and they could puncture the raft and spill you into the sea and their jaws without any sign of violence. They follow your raft, waiting. You sleep as much as possible. Bob and Maria try to catch fish, but they have no luck. Tony crouches, hoping to grab a curious seagull. Several times he lunges at one, almost catching it as he threatens to tip over the raft. But hungry as you are, you're not sure you could eat a raw bird, even if he caught one. Ooh, seagull sushi.
Oh, yes.
I think we're going to die. I'm just telling you. Turn to page 105. Man, we've made, 3 choices?
3 choices. There's
Who
only
said go into business? Who picked business?
Yeah, now we're on a raft, about ready to die. We're a millionaire in a raft.
No one talks too much, but you can tell that the others are looking to figure a way out. After all, you're supposed to be a genius. The 7th day on the raft is calm. You lie there trying to shield yourself from the burning sun. There seems to be a sense of hopelessness in the air. Then you notice 2 things that give you hope. The sky is perfectly clear except for a single large cumulus cloud on the horizon to your left. That seems peculiar. and off the starboard side, you notice a slick on the water that stretches northward as far as the eye can see. You point these things out to the others, but no one knows what to make of them. You're the genius, Bob says. What do you think they mean? You try to think clearly. One thing is certain. If you follow up one lead and it doesn't work out, no one will have the strength to investigate the other. If you tell everyone to paddle towards the white cloud, turn to page 99. If you tell everyone to follow the slick on the water, turn to page 69. Hey, we have a choice.
BRS has got to go. See you, Mr. BRS.
Oh no!
All right. Well, let us know in the chat. What do we do? Follow the slick or paddle towards the white cloud? Let us know in the chat.
We have been hopping around like crazy.
I know. We're a millionaire. Why didn't we just get our own boat? Why did we have to go on this guy's boat?
I have multi-million dollars. I should just go and be on a boat. Yeah, I was gonna say, Mr. BRS ain't go nowhere.
Oh, okay. I wonder, since we're the genius, it wasn't much of a genius move.
69 dudes.
Dude. All right. So that's the slick. And John says cloud. Scott says cloud. Okay.
Oh, full
Wow.
cloud.
Mr. BRS outvoted. So 99. I'll grab that one here. That white cloud may be hanging over an island, you call out. I think we should paddle toward it. The others look at you doubtfully, but everyone takes up a paddle. The tiny craft moves through the water slowly, stroke by stroke. Head to the left of the cloud, you say. The current here is setting us to the east. How do you know? Bob asks. I glanced at the charts before the storm. Hour after hour, no one speaks. No one has the strength. The afternoon wears on, but the cloud seems as far away as ever. With each stroke of the paddle, there's less hope left. Before long, Maria and Bob fall exhausted to the bottom of the raft. You and Todd paddle on. Your strength is receding fast. Then you strain your eyes, trying to make out something in the distance. Is it just another cloud hanging on the horizon, you wonder? Or could it be, it's land, Todd shouts. It's Dinosaur Island. Oh.
Todd summoning all the Todds before him, the strength. Give me the Todd power.
I have the power. Bob and Maria manage to sit up. Maria grabs a paddle. Come on, everyone. It's our only chance, she says hoarsely. The four of you paddle hard. Hope has given you extra energy, but you know it won't last for long. Feel that? Todd says. Wind is coming up from behind us. If we raise our rain cover, we can use it to sail. Soon, your raft is sailing toward the cloud faster than you could paddle. You were right. It is an island. You can see the green hills. How far? Tony croaks out the words. 10 miles at most, says Bob. If this breeze holds, we'll make it in a couple of hours.
Ooh.
Your throats are too dry to cheer. Turn to page 12. While you're still a few miles from the beach, you are spotted by a crew of fishermen from their skiff. You wave wildly as a dory powered with an outboard motor heads toward you. We're saved, Bob shouts, clasping your shoulder. How did you know we should steer toward the cloud? Clouds tend to form over islands, you say. The land heats up a lot faster than the water under the midday sun, so air rises over the land. When the hot air hits the cool upper air, condensation occurs and clouds are formed. We're sure glad you came along, Tony says. Maria gives you a hug. We sure are. Genius. The end. We didn't die.
Ding.
Ding.
We didn't die. We ended on genius. We
Still alive.
Todd. We didn't have to eat Todd.
Yeah. And our
I thought he was
tucked in.
I thought he was a shirt that's still tucked in. Everybody, look at that. Tucked in shirts. How bad could it have really been?
If you're gonna
Your shirts
die,
are still tucked.
if you're gonna die because your ship went down, you better make sure that shirt's tucked in.
Exactly. I'm not dying with an untucked shirt.
How dare you?
Oh
man,
my
I looked at the
gosh.
end. I should have done this before I picked it. There's only 13 endings in this book.
Gosh, we found one. That took us forever.
Balloon to the Sahara had 41.
Go! 13 endings, and that had to be one of the main quests.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's not much.
Wow,
it's a lot of story. Not a lot of choose in this choose your own adventure, but
yeah, right.
That's how they were towards the end. But,
they really were. I remember that by the end.
But
Yeah, I want to get to the space. Look at that. Look at all these weird.
I know. I love the premise though. Like you said, it just leans into our hubris.
I'm so smart all the time. That genius
Falling
poke at the end.
Or falling out of an apartment and our
I know.
shirt's still tucked in.
Look at that. And that's an ending. He's like, ah.
Yeah, we're flying to our death and my shirt's still tucked in.
The cool kids in school said you'd be really cool if you jumped off the top of the hotel. So you do.
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna have to end it for tonight because that one
took
the full hour. Man.
That took the full hour to get through that one read.
You got some cool stuff in here though. Wow.
Great illustrations.
Oh yeah. All right.
Like a little middle finger at the end.
Yeah, it is.
Genius.
Well, if we want to, we usually do this every 2 weeks, about 8:45 Central ish, and you can go to uchoosepodcast.com. That's the letter U, choosepodcast.com, and listen to our old episodes. I think John has listened to. He must have listened to Dinosaur Island because he knew about that one.
He's like, "Wait, quit picking on Dinosaur Island."
Yeah, come on. But thank you for everybody in the chat. We really appreciate it. It makes it way more fun when you guys are here.
Absolutely.
And making funny jokes and all sorts of things. So you are a genius for being here.
Yeah, you're the genius. I'm no genius.
Yes. All right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Mr. Biaris. So thank you, everybody. And until next time, you choose the adventure. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a great week.